Rice County Executive Committee. The clerk would please call the roll.
Good morning. Alan Barkstrom.
Here.
Doug Erickson.
Here.
Brian Ernst.
Here.
Jeff Hallstrand.
Here.
Larry Palachuk is excused.
Okay. First item, public comment. Anybody in the audience sign up for public comment? Jenny? 2 minutes non-agenda, 3 minutes agenda item.
Agenda, but I don't think I have 3 minutes.
Turn your microphone on.
Microphone? Yeah, I will, when I get organized here. I was at the meeting when the administrator's position was being created, mostly by that county board chair. At that time, the personnel manager yielded a lot of control over the board, and most of them seemed to be afraid to do anything about it. So they jumped on this way of eliminating her job. The board chair said that the administrator's job would include the personnel and financial component. Now we have Laura and Carrie. Maybe it would be a good idea to review the whole position. There is another option too, it's administrative coordinator, which is more for counties this size. Originally, the administrator's job was created for counties of 500,000 or more. How many on the full county board have ever even seen the administrator's job description or the contract? Since the administrator has assumed such a great deal of influence and power, none of his evaluation should be done without the whole county board in attendance. The committee was also suggested by the same county board chair, this committee. Afterward, he told people the county is being run by the executive committee. Where is the whole board in all of this? And how is it really representing the taxpayers whose supervisors aren't on this committee? Some things to ponder.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody online that has public comment? *6. Here's nobody's online that wants to comment, so we'll move on. Any communication from committee members? Mr. Hastings?
Yes, I had one. I kind of agree with Ginny on the line of the accountability here, and I did draft up a resolution. How would you like me to proceed with it?
Give it to me after
Okay.
this meeting, and then we'll look it over,
Okay. Very good.
get it on an agenda.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving along, number 2. Meeting minutes, December 11th, 2025. Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Barkstrom, second by Erickson. Any discussion? Comments? Corrections? Okay, hearing none. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Next up, number 3, treasurer's report. Renee.
Good morning.
Morning.
The financial report and treasurer's report are in your packets. The only thing I would kind of, I guess, call your attention to is the checking account at the end of end of December I was a little bit late with the cutoff at the bank to do the transfers for what we collected from the 7 municipalities that we collect. So it looks a little bit inflated. However, it will catch up here in January because I was after the cutoff for those. Other than that, you will also see all of the new loans listed in the loans and debt service and with the corresponding loan rates and when the next payment due is. Anybody have any questions on those reports? Okay. Next item would be the in-rem process. We did begin the 2022 unpaid taxes in the in-rem process. In November, sent 73 parcels to get the title work being worked on. We've got probably half of them back. 3 have come off. There are more that will be coming off next week pending once the checks have been collected. So there's people that are paying, which is always good. Probably down to about 65. But 15 of those are those slivers, parcels that resurfaced during some reassessments years ago. Items that the parcels that the counties held on to for quite a while. So it seems a little inflated at 73. And that's because they're probably about 15 and we're just going to have a clean slate. So that process has begun. Any questions on 22? Right. And then I think the last agenda item for me is the final land auction that was concluded with the property in Fifield selling. So we still have the one that the committee will need to set the opening bid or whatever you want to
Yeah,
do.
so to go back, we had the auction. We had 2 parcels. It was parcel 23,518, which was next to the city hall up in Park Falls behind
Correct.
Corner Rock. It's in that alleyway. And then that parcel on Highway 13 in Fifield. Originally, the first auction, we started at 8,000. Nobody bid on it. You guys reset the auction to 4,000. I don't know what happened, but it went up to 24,000,
26 and some
26,000. So
Seriously?
there's some happy bidders. Yeah.
That was the Fifield.
Yeah, the Fifield
Yeah.
property. So there's a lot of bidding going on. It extended almost 2 hours.
3 hours.
3
It was
hours.
Till
It
after
was-
1. It was supposed to be done at 10 a.m.
Yeah, so it just kept going up by $500. So we don't get anything more, but we did clear our costs, which is great because originally, even at the 8,000, I believe we were not clearing everything because you do a market value. So positive, we got everything back. The previous owner will receive whatever is left on that property. The remaining property, that 23,518, also was slated at $8,000 on the original auction. It was put at $4,000. No one bid. So today we need to decide if you want to put it out there at less, you want to try again at 4,000, you want to do nothing with it. It's up to you. Park Falls, yep. It's right behind, right across from the library, not on the highway side, but behind Corner Rock. It's by the Wallerman's Plumbing, if you know that one. No bids.
How
That-
much do we have stuck into that one?
Way more than what we'll ever get.
The city raised
city.
that.
Yeah, so we
Yes.
don't have a ton.
City of Park Falls has.
Okay.
Well, what do we have in?
Let me pull it up.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a huge, yeah, when we say what the total cost is into it, it's our taxes or all the taxes that we've made whole for the city, the schools, ourselves, everything, and any public service costs. So, or not public service, but public works costs up in Park Falls. So if they did any plowing, mowing, any maintenance on it, because we tend to not, if it's not a hazard, they'll come in and do the mow and put it on there and hope they get their money back. And then they also raised a house on it. So the raising cost was much higher.
And we get paid first before that.
Right. So the order I talked about is the order it goes in. Yeah.
So if we take out their raising, it's about 10,000.
Because there was a house on it. It's
Yeah,
not an,
'cause it's-
it is an empty lot now,
Right.
which gets taxed at a much lower rate than what a
Yeah,
house.
current was 27,800 and their raising was 17,900.
What about without fees?
Title fees and legal fees.
All those we pay
Right, that's the thing, those are we gonna pay, so that's
without interest and penalty. I guess.
without interest and penalty is another 2,200.
So really, we have about 8,000 in
Yeah.
fees and taxes. That would be the goal. I don't think we'll hit it. I mean, nobody wanted it at 4. Now, could be the same situation as Fifield. You started at $1,000 and it goes to 20. I don't know.
Okay, so it goes on auction again, say for 4, whatever we decide today.
It was
And if
4.
it doesn't sell, Does this go in perpetuity then?
Yeah, we
If,
just
if
keep-
as long
we
as
just
we want to try and get rid
We
of it?
used to start the auction at $100 and just see what happened.
In the city of Park Falls is not interested.
I've talked to them a few times. They don't need it as a parking area. I mean, if it was nothing, yeah, they'll take it, they'll maintain it, and it's parking for their city hall or library / city hall. But I would say based on previous auctions, your probably best bet is put it at 100 or $300 and hope that you get 4 or 5,000, not 500. So you guys have to set the new wage or not wage, rate.
So just sitting there, is it going to gain any more charges
No,
against
no.
it? No, we're done with.
Correct.
It's in the
Unless
county's
they're-
name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But they could if it has grass on it.
If they have to cut the grass.
Oh, if
and-
there's a
Yeah.
special.
Yeah.
Or if there's
Yeah.
sidewalk that
Correct.
they're shoveling.
That's where it would incur more
Yeah.
costs.
There's not a house. A lot of times with a house, that's where it's a pain in the butt because we have to winterize it or some kind of not maintain it. We never put money into it, but there's still just time and effort with a
Insurance.
house. Insurances, yeah.
Well, it's in our best interest to get it back on the tax roll.
Yeah.
Just because somebody pays $100 for it, the assessors throw that right out the door and say, this is what it's worth. So, I mean, I would say let's put it out there for $500 and get rid of it and
I'd second that.
take our thumps and get it back on the tax roll.
Is that a motion?
Motion.
Okay. Motion by Hallstrand to lower the price, initial price to $500. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Barkstrom. Any further discussion?
I had one.
Mr. Hastings?
I looked at the different houses after listening to the last meeting, and down south, there's several counties where the vacant lots are at like $1,000 is where they started at.
Any other comments for discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor of $500 starting price for the auction on this particular parcel 23518, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Go ahead and list it at 500.
Thank
I
you.
already emailed Evan, so he can get the paperwork done.
And I think that ends all your agenda items,
Really?
Renee, right?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, number 4, Register of Deeds Office, Sylvia.
All right, good
Good
morning.
morning.
So December was a quite busy month for us. We recorded 304 documents, which equated to about $12.2 million in straight sales. We did 42 vital record applications, providing 249 records issued. On January 8th, the State Department of Revenue was doing a whole transition to their electronic real estate transfer return program. So we were down with the state interfacing e-returns is what we call them on Friday the 9th. On January 12th, they flipped the switch to a new e-return system. And so as of today's date, we are recording documents, but that interface with the state still has some issues. So we're working through that, but it was a complete state system transition and they haven't updated the system since they put it in place. I want to say maybe like 2009, maybe when people had to start doing e-returns. So this is quite a change. So it's working well. Our land records vendor is working very close with us. IT is working very close with us. And hopefully by the end of this week, we'll be back interfacing with the state.
Any comments or questions for Sylvia? Well, thank you very much. Skylar, are you on any kind of timeline?
No.
Okay, we'll just continue with the agenda as published then.
I talk a long time. You sure you don't want to skip ahead?
No, it's good.
Okay, next up, number 5, Office of Administration, 2025 monthly financial reports.
Yeah, before we jump into that, I do have some just general updates. At the Highway Committee, we talked quite a bit about equipment. There will be a resolution that needs to be amended, I guess is the best way we'll probably approach it. Where last year during the budget time, we did our best job estimating what the total cost of the construction was for the year. We we promised $3.1 million, or you as a board made a resolution for 3.1 million. When we went out to do the borrowing to go after whatever the total construction was, we estimated about 2.6 million, and then also got the difference up to the 3.1 for equipment. By the time the year closed and we got all the final bills in after all the estimates, that number was about $200,000 to $300,000 higher. So really we did about 2.8, 2.9 in construction. So that leaves us not that money for the equipment. So with that, we had that equipment was supposed to go to a front loader and a skidster, ASV or whatever they're called, skid steer. We had enough money to continue to buy the skidster. So that was purchased. It's already up and running and used for brushing and all kinds of projects. But the front loader did not get purchased. So we did bid it out, but between Roger, myself, Carrie, we sat down and said, there's no money for it. We are not purchasing that. So that has been pushed off to a future budget year. What we need to do is go back and adjust those resolutions to represent what we borrowed the money for. So construction will go from 2.6 to whatever, 2.8, 2.9, and then the equipment will go, the difference will go down. So highways understands it, why we did it. The American Asphalt, the cost per ton was the same, but the total used was not what was estimated. So it happened, especially, I think it was C, you were on a C and R. It was a really curvy road. So the way Roger explained it is when you do a lot of curves, there's a lot of difference in depth and it's hard to estimate that. So that's one thing you guys will be addressing here in the next couple months. But as far as what we spent within the budget. It's just that what we told the banks and what the resolution is does not match. So we'll have to adjust that.
So you're basically saying you don't want more money?
No,
Just
we're
rearrange.
being transparent
the
on where it
statement of
went.
where it's
Yep,
going.
Yep, we're communicating in transparency of where it went.
My comment only is, are these guys doing estimates? And I understand are they like the weathermen? 50-50 chance of getting it right? I mean,
Yeah,
in
and
the old days, you used to have to.
the hard part is normally this wouldn't happen. It's just the way it comes in for our
Yeah.
budget. We have to have a resolution to say where the borrowing is going to be for the budget. We do our best to say, this is what the estimates were. Are we close to it? Are we above, below it? And it just, everybody was off by that tonnage. So it's not, no one did anything to try to hide or do it.
Oh, I
It was
get
just,
that.
yeah.
It's
we
just
talked
an
about that.
observation. It's the same thing with the yellow equipment too. They give us a price and then when we get it, it's always more. Nobody has to stay.
When you call them and go,
their
what's it going to be
bids or
near?
their
Oh,
estimates.
it'll be this estimate. Okay, we'll try to borrow that much money. And then all of a sudden it's, we need $8,000 more.
Yeah.
The trucks were that
I
this
think
year.
Roger also mentioned gravel too was a lot more than they had planned too.
The amount of, not the cost, the
Right,
the
the amount,
tonnage
Yeah,
that
I
was
think he
used.
was-
Yeah. Yep. And it's not, I want to clarify too, it's not like one bidder came in and said, well, we believe it'll be 2 million and the other bidder was 2.8 million. So we choose the 2 million. These are the estimated costs. You're paying per tonnage. You're not paying total project cost. So both of them, you look at, the other guy bid $25 per ton. American, who we chose, bid 21 per ton. You're picking the 21 per ton because both of them should have used the same tonnage in the
Well,
end
that
of the
was going to be
project.
my next question.
Yep. They bid,
You can verify that,
yep.
the higher bidder,
Yes, we picked the lowest bidder based on cost per tonnage.
but was the tonnage looked at as far as their estimates? Were they both estimating close?
Yep, yeah, the estimates tend to be like, we're gonna use 1,000 tons at $20. We're gonna use 1,000 tons at $22. Yep, we go through all that.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
From my experience, bids are different than estimates.
Okay.
And a bid is a set price. And an estimate is a guesstimate, more or less, at the end result. Is there any way you could change it to a bid proposal instead of an estimate? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, we bid per ton, not per project.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how the bid works.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
Okay.
Next thing I had was just some IT updates because technically they're part of this committee. Lots going on with IT. We've had some email issues, just working through them. There's a lot of bad actors out there trying to get you to open email. So
Where's that coming from?
everywhere, just bad actors trying to get into your system. So we have everything in place that you need to. We have all the insurances. We have everything. It's just every day we're seeing more and more bad emails. So DJ's busy. Let's just say that. We had a 911 outage for a short period. So IT was working on that. That was not our issue. That was our vendor, third-party vendor. That was on a Saturday. So that was a long Saturday. Nothing you can do. It's just a vendor outage. Trying to think. IT has been busy. The IT / our office, we are switching to a cloud-based service for our financial software. We've attempted 3 times, and each time we've stopped it because we found issues of, we had questions. It's not really issues. It's like, hold on, how is this going to work? Oh, we didn't realize this was happening. How is this going to work? So IT has been working closely with that. We did have a final meeting was it Monday? It's been a long week. So Monday afternoon with all their top engineers, and I think we're a go for February 9th. Sounds right, 19th to transition to that cloud-based system. Once we're on the cloud-based system, that saves us a bunch of IT costs on our end because right now we have an independent it's the financial server, finance server. So once we go to the cloud, we'll get backups, but we'll store it on a different server so we can end that server's life, which 1 costs a lot just to replace a server like that. But 2, we pay like 20 grand a year for licensing per server. So that'll be a lot of maintenance and service savings. So that'll be a good thing. DA's office, I know we don't deal with them at this committee, but just so you have an update, we still don't have a DA. The special prosecutor is gone. We do have an assistant DA that's trying to keep up, but they're only part-time here. I did get contacted by an individual about an interest in our DA position. They were trying to learn more about Price County before they chose to ask for the appointment through the governor's office. That was about 2 weeks ago. I have not heard any updates. It did sound promising, but I don't know how that'll turn out. Otherwise, we're still waiting on that. I went to a meeting. Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Our jail population
Is your mic on?
Yeah, it's on.
is full?
Yep.
Okay, and some are waiting trials?
Some, yeah. Yep.
And a lot of district attorney gets delayed?
Yeah, there's a lot of.
So that cost per diem seems to be.
Yeah, so a couple different levers we're having problems with in the whole system up there. One, we have a new judge. So our judge has to recuse himself from quite a few different things that at one time we were working with, I believe 12 judges to try to keep things going. So that's 1. 2, we have a DA that is not there. So that postpones things. 3, probably the most long wait type thing is public defenders. So we struggle to get public defenders up here timely as often as we can. We're way better off than most counties. For some reason, the Merrill office or Central Wisconsin office does very well keeping public defenders. That doesn't mean we have enough or timely. And then with the jail population, how that works. So say you're waiting a trial for whatever it might be, and you're sitting in jail and it's been 45 days, and then you finally go to trial and you're sentenced to 60 days. Well, you get 45 days served. So it's not like, oh, they were told that they're going to get 30 days and they're already out. There's some of those where you've hit time served. So not saying the timeliness isn't right and we should be working towards that, but that's a court system issue right now. We do house out of county. It is on average, I think we've had 4 to 6 people out of county recently. It's about $50 a day to have those individuals out of county, but that's still significantly cheaper than expanding the number of beds we have. You figure if you added I've heard anywhere between $500,000 per bed. By the time you get the facility, everything, but then you also, more beds means more staff, means more food, means more health, all kinds of stuff. So right now paying a couple $100 a day outside is way cheaper than a $20 million bond or a $40 million bond to redo a facility. The other cost there, and we'll talk about it later, is health in the jail is ridiculously expensive, and there's only 1 to 2 providers, and that goes up exponentially every year. Food service, again, not a lot of providers, so that goes up quite a bit every year. Those are the big costs for the jail. All right, we'll get into the 2025 end of year here. I'll share where we're at. Correct. So these numbers are not final numbers. We have about 4 months before anything gets close to what would be considered final. And that's because we have a thing called period 13. Period 13 is where we know we have a service provided this, like say in December, but the bill doesn't come till January, February, and then it doesn't get paid for 3 more weeks. So there's a timing issue. We back all those things back to the year that they happen. So we're a cash accrual basis. So we're like a hybrid. It's when it's accrued during the year, but then it's cash at the, we have to put it back to the year that it happened.
And that's not just expenses, that's revenue.
Revenue too, yep. So yeah, and we don't do them as receivables until April. So like Evan, land conservation, I shouldn't say Evan, but land conservation is usually one of the main receivables.
And
Roxanne,
forestry
emergency management. So what those are is we know there's money still coming, but it doesn't hit in time for the audit. So we make a receivable so we can recognize the money in the year that it happens. So this is end of year. The big ones that the one that I point out every time right here, sheriff's office. I've never seen them a better number. So best we've done in many, many years. Usually that one's about $250,000 over. So the things we've been doing over the last 2-3 budgets has worked. We've caught up for the most part. We also added a little bit more. The biggest hurdle next year would be we set a budget and then we also have the union contract, which was not in the budget. So again, we play catch up for a year or two, but that one's always a mystery depending on what's going on in the sheriff's department. So knock on wood, that one did really well. The jail, on the other hand, we're about $420,000 over, and that's just staffing, training, cost of health, cost of food, cost of full jail. So usually we combine the two, which if you combine the two, we're right at where we are pretty much year over year, about $400,000 to $500,000 over, which again, each year we work towards trying to put a budget that eats that negative away. Forestry, they're at 112% of revenues. That'll still continue to go up a little bit because we have outstanding sales. The costs here, they have not been offset yet with the adjusting journal entries. That would be for projects. So you guys throughout the year do resolutions. We don't adjust their budget until after the year is over. So that will change quite a bit.
So projects and forestry amounted to $1.5 million.
right now. And a lot of them, they're grants. So they will be, like, as he's saying, we don't budget the grants because we don't know what they're gonna get completed and stuff. So that's why we do the journal entry at the end of the year to show, okay, this is what grants did come in.
So a revenue and an expense will come in.
Correct.
For the grant.
Because you can see the revenue, and he will be having more revenue. His revenue is 1.7. We budgeted 1.5, but there will be more revenue coming in. So there will be an offset between the revenue and the expenses to better reflect what actually happened.
Same with land conservation. They're 131,000. Oh, they're under, never
They're
mind.
under, but they will be getting more revenue coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're only at 34% of the revenue, but we did the pictures this year and something else that there's a grant for.
Wasn't it landed for you?
But doesn't it go through land conservation? I don't know. Either way, there's money coming.
There's a bunch.
Those we wait on. Health and Human
Here, Mike.
Sure.
Thank you.
Health and Human Services. This one's always a couple months behind. And that's just because of the way the billing happens, also the receivables. So
Can we go back to the
sure.
general fund? Land information, why is that so?
That's the one we were just talking about. That one's actually the pictures.
We didn't hear what you said.
That's the one that is for the pictures and stuff, the aerial photographs and stuff, that goes through Land Info. So, and that is isn't that a separate couple year project?
Yeah, that was a 2-year project that we put in the budget, and right now we're waiting for that, I think, $96,000 E911 grant money to come in to help offset that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why this end of year is tough, because this is when we start to get all the grants in. This is when we paid out all the costs for the projects that we were working on. Same with Health and Human Services. Nothing, we'll look at some charts. We had some high cost behavioral health and children and youth things. But again, bills and money still coming in on that. Other funds, the one we were hoping a little bit was going to do better, that they didn't do bad. It was just highway. After we found out about the bidding, we thought, okay, we'll hold off, see if there's some winter maintenance funds from last year that we could use to buy that front loader. In the end, as you guys know, November, December was a lot of rain, a lot of snow, a lot of events. So we used up that budget pretty quick. We had, I think, like $300,000 or $400,000 going into November, and that was gone with the snow events. So, and we've started off the year same pace. So it's going to be a tight year for highways cost on snow events.
And highway is really the only fund that doesn't do period 13. So you'll notice a little bit of a change on highway. We do an accrual of the payroll. So any payroll for the last week of the payroll, that will get put into expenses for December. But otherwise, the rest of it, pretty much what you see, I mean, there'll be a little fluctuation, but not much.
So cash, at the end of the year, December, we had $11.7 million, which is up about 12% from the prior year. Renee talked about a little bit of that. Is that where you were saying disbursements didn't happen at the end of the year? So there's a little bit of that that's, I don't want to say inflated because that sounds bad, but it's timing. There's some timing issues on that one. But in general, we ended the year right around where we expected to year over year. This is just a chart for it. You can see we're up above the last several years for December. A blank page. Okay, sales tax. This one is two months behind. So in October, we were at $1.122 million, which is 3.2% less than the prior year. Again, a little bit of timing on this one, but we're $37,000 less than last year at this time. We believe we'll still hit that budget of $1.35 million. Any questions about sales tax? Sure.
So back to Sylvia's report, 12.2 million in straight sales. We don't collect sales tax on land transactions.
Nope.
I was gonna say, boy, that should really boost this number.
Nope.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's vehicles are the big one. But just online sales is what really kicked it up. And I don't know do we have enough years? Yeah. If we went back another 2-3 years, so where December 2020 was $1 million. I can't remember what year, if it was 2019 or 2017. Those 2 years stick out in my head. That the law changed that any online purchases actually go to the county that the delivery happened. So we went from like $600,000 average to the 1.2 over a 5-year period. So
I think the big thing that happened was Amazon put a fulfillment center down in Milwaukee.
Right, so the state, right.
So the state
That was-
wasn't getting off of it.
Right, so that was number one, is you didn't pay sales tax if they didn't have a brick and mortar in your state. So if you ordered like sporting goods, you'd want to find somebody that was like in Minnesota to ship it to you, because then you wouldn't pay sales tax. Then that law changed that it doesn't well, then brick and mortar, but then, so like an Amazon and brick and mortar came, but then it was where the facility was. So was it Fond du Lac County, I think, got the first Amazon distribution, or the big one anyways. All the sales tax would go there. Now it's, where did the end happen? So we're seeing where the sales tax, just like a car. If you buy a car in Texas, it's registered here and the sales tax is here. Stumpage, $1.4 million. We're $652,000 more than last year at this time. We hit our budget of 1.27 million, so we're over budget, which is good. We have quite a few outstanding sales still going on, so hopefully we continue that trend. I know from, was talking to Joe and a couple other people right now, because the fall/early winter was so dry and cold, a lot of people were out cutting, but that filled up a lot of the yards, which then shuts down the yards for this time of year because they've got their stuff. So it's kind of this weird ebb and flow of timing. But we saw our budget. That's the key. Our sales seem to be okay through forestry's bids. High cost placements, children and youth, were 29.1% higher than last year, or $135,000. We're already, oh, that can't be right, because that's the exact budget. Something pulled in wrong for that number.
That budget.
Either way, we know we're high this year compared to last year, but again, we're 2 months behind for billing. We still have, I believe, two high cost placements, potential a third, that continue to hover over us. Positive is we're not at 2020 levels of $1.2 million, $1.1 million. We're kind of back in line if you look at year over year. High cost placements, AODA, so this is behavioral health or mental health. This is where you offset the one we just looked at. Last year at this time we were at 519,000. Now we're at 286,000, so 44% less, or $233,000. Still got bills coming in. Health insurance, we're at $61,000 in the negative, but we started $87,000 in the negative, so we're actually doing okay. We changed how health insurance is for next year. We increased increased deductibles, but we increased the cost to employees a little bit. We implemented a few more programs. Our biggest saver, and I don't have our fourth quarter numbers, but is the availability of Tailored Family Clinic. We get a quarterly report, and by the end of last quarter, we had already saved like $350,000 on medical costs by having individuals go to Tailored. We're already seeing some positive things in January, a new program called Health 360, which helps you shop your procedure. So say you needed a colonoscopy or a mammogram, you use this app that we pay for, and you say, my normal provider would be X, so whatever facility. Tell me if this is the lowest provider. It'll give you your facility plus a middle facility plus the lowest provider. Now, you might be the lowest provider, so it gives you three options. The one you're going to might be the lowest provider. If you're already going to the lowest provider, thank you for using the app and trying to use the lowest provider. We give you $50. So you get a $50 reimbursement towards your deductible. If you were in the high one, say the high one was $6,000, and you found out that you could go somewhere else and it was going to be $3,000, we say, if you choose the $3,000 one, you get a 25% of the savings. So we just saved $3,000 as a county. You'd get a check for 25% to go towards your deductible, up to $5,000. So I just reviewed one the other day, or not reviewed, I saw an example of one where I think it was for the county, we saved like $2,000 some dollars if the employee went there. So we owed the employee, whatever, $500. So we save $1,500 as a county through our health insurance. Where we are going to see the biggest savings on this program is like, I have a knee surgery. So some knee surgeries cost you $100,000 at some facilities, and they'll cost you $30,000 at others. So the employee would receive a $5,000 incentive to go to the lowest cost facility. We would save $65,000 in that case. So we believe this program is going to pay off quickly. We are using Tailored as like a conduit. So we're trying to get people to go Tailored because there's no cost. So if I go to Tailored and say, hey, I got a bad knee, they're going to send me to the MRI. That's the cheapest using this product. So we already saved from $3,500 to $600. That's the difference between MRIs around here. Then they're going to give me the prescription and say, yep, you need a knee surgery. Let's help you navigate this 100,000 versus 30,000. So we are partnering up with multiple different vendors to really reduce our health insurance costs going forward. Any questions about that?
So I have to apologize because both of the high cost placement reports were incorrect. Hold on, let me hit save. So they'll be correct for the board. So the AODA was actually 324,377 for that month. Let me get
So it went
back.
up 20,000.
Yep, and where did it go? Come on. And the children and youth was 611,435.
So it went up 7,000.
Yep.
Compared to what's on the sheet.
Right.
So we'll have those for the board packet.
Yep.
Well, we'll have a whole nother one before then, so this won't even go
Oh,
to the
that's
board.
true. Yeah, we'll have a whole nother month. Yep.
That's all I had, unless there's questions about
I got some questions.
budget.
Going back to page 3, which is the totals on the bottom.
Yep.
You got that's our total budget was 33.9, and
Yep, we spent 34.
the budget was 34.4, and right now you spent 33.9.
Correct.
So
Yep.
but you got some more, no revenue coming in, so to speak.
No, we got lots of revenue still. We got all the state funding for health and human services. We got all the land
All
info.
right, so it looks then
grants.
like you're going to,
I believe we had a decent year. yes.
you're
Yep.
gonna make the budget.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not worried. Like no big losses, nothing off kilter. I mean, there's always ups and downs. I'm not saying everyone was a
Right,
perfect
but you're
guess.
close.
And,
You're
yep.
close.
Yep. Overall, we will have a average year.
Okay, there's nothing else for Nick. Move on. Clerk's office updates. Meredith?
Thank you. So these are the January 15th clerk office updates. There is no primary election needed in Price County, and the April election will be April 7th for spring. There are candidates running in all the county supervisory district positions, and 2 candidates are in District 4 and 2 are in District 13.
What was that again? 2 and
2 in District 4 and 2 in District 13. All the rest have 1 candidate. And we received back all but 1 contract for MOUs for WISVOTE services. So we're waiting on 1 more. And then we sent out invoices for those WISVOTE election maintenance services that we provide to municipalities. And those were sent out January 5th and they're due back February 5th. So, and other than that, Jules and I have been busy organizing and getting ready for the April election.
Meredith, who are we waiting on the contract yet?
Uptown of Prentice. Any other questions? Okay.
Okay. Next
Brian,
up.
I just want to go back. I don't know what would be one of those treasurer, the register of deeds, just so everybody has an update on reassessments for next year. So this year taxes seem to have gone well. Collecting seemed to go well. The biggest change in like your tax bill group where, where you saw the biggest change was the Village Apprentice. So we kind of pull taxes as we go just to kind of see what the average is. Town of Lake kind of averaged about 0.2 increase. Town of Elk kind of went down. Worcester, we saw a lot go down. The biggest one was where we saw the 22s and 24% increase was the Village Apprentice. And what that we kind of deduced to is if you look at commercial properties, they got a reassessment. So if you look at commercial properties, for example, the old Connexus Bank building, it went from $10,000 to whatever the new assessment was. The bill, their new tax bill was half. It was about $5,000. So all the collecting, the taxes to collect stayed the same for that village. It's just who had to pay it because commercial properties got reassessed at much, much lower. All the ones down we saw like $2,000-$3,000 decrease on all those businesses, those buildings. And that means every property owner had to make up that amount because we still collect the same from that municipality. So Village Apprentice, we saw 22 to 28% increase. A lot of the south of, the Prentice School District, we did see some like the Ogamas and the Spirits, and there was their increase was due to the school referendums we kind of looked at. But in general, of the 7 municipalities that got reassessment, we didn't see a huge, besides Village Apprentice, a huge weird number. It's been requested on who's getting assessed next year, and my understanding is between 8 and 9. Do you remember what Oakley said?
I thought she said 7 for sure.
I think she got the last one, so I think it was 8 because I think we were waiting on a last one, but I believe it's somewhere between 7 and 9 that are also going to do it. We had 7 this year, so we're going to have the same education. We're going to have the same scare of like, oh my gosh, mine doubled, my assessment doubled. Doesn't mean your taxes are going to double. The ones we're going to see the biggest change, I think, just like Village Apprentice went through this, Park Falls, my understanding, is going through reassessment. Their commercial properties are probably going to do the same thing. So I believe you're going to see Park Falls kind of hit what we saw in the Village Apprentice, but just wanted to give everybody a heads up that there is between 7 and 9 municipalities going through reassessment again next year. I think 2 years out, we're going to see probably 4 or 5 because there's still several people out of compliance with their assessments. Even those who did assessments like 3-4 years ago, Fifield, Town of Fifield, Town of Lake, they did them, I want to say within the last 3 years, 3 to 5 years. They're already out of compliance. So they have 5 years from the out of compliance. So they're going to have to do it here in the next 3 years. So that was, we missed kind of updating on tax collections going well. And where we saw the biggest change was that Village Apprentice.
Okay, so Brian asked that Jeff take over. He was excused for a moment.
I accept. Okay, we'll move on to item number 7. Skylar's going to give us a presentation about SEP.
Everybody get my handout? Okay. All right, is that better? Ooh. This is a smaller podium than I'm used to here. All right, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today and for your continued partnership with Northwest Wisconsin SEP. Price County has long reflected the values that guide our work at SEP: resilience, accountability, and a strong commitment to community. SEP has maintained a continuous presence in Price County since the late 1960s, beginning with our very first outreach space in room 6 of the County Normal Building. For more than 5 decades, our role has remained consistent, helping people gain the skills, training, and experience they need to help get back to work and remain employed, while supporting local employers who depend on a stable workforce. Over time, workforce funding has declined and become more unpredictable, even as the need for services has increased. Despite those challenges, SEP has stayed focused on efficiency and outcomes. Our work is centered on helping people move from unemployment to paychecks, from short-term hardship to long-term stability, from dependency to self-sufficiency. In fact, right now or shortly, my coworker Winnie will be over at the jail working with some of those individuals on their transition plans after release. Today, I want to acknowledge the $5,000 loan that SEP provided, or that Price County provided to SEP. We are fully prepared to repay that amount if that is the board's decision. This ability comes from multiple cuts and changes over the last 18 months at SEP. At the same time, other county boards have begun conversations about whether loans like this might be reconsidered in recognition of the current funding environment and the return of these dollars locally. Federal Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act funding has once again declined and likely will for the program year starting in July, and contract times have become less predictable. Loan relief would allow SEP to keep these dollars working locally, supporting Price County residents and employers rather than holding funds in reserve during federal delays. This investment is producing real results. Based on available data, SEP has served approximately 1 in every 80 Price County residents and roughly 1 in 32 members of the labor force. The Park Falls Job Center recorded the highest customer traffic in our region, with nearly 400 in-person visits from July through early December. In addition, our staff regularly provides services at other outreach sites throughout the county and meets with residents virtually to ensure access across Price County. Price County residents have earned industry-recognized credentials, returned to work following layoffs, and built new career pathways through programs like WIOA. We also continue to respond when the community needs us most. Over the last decade or so, SEP has served as the first point of contact following major layoffs and closures affecting Price County residents. When disruption happens, our role is to help people navigate the next step forward and reconnect to work as quickly as possible. The success stories included in your packet reflect that work. These are not isolated cases. They represent what happens when people are given practical support, clear expectations, and a path back to work. Many of these individuals remain employed years later, contributing to the local economy and raising families right here in Price County. So, as I mentioned, while we are prepared to repay the loan if required, I respectfully ask the board to consider forgiveness to recognize the demonstrated return on investment and to keep these dollars circulating locally. Doing so helps SEP continue to provide workforce services that benefit Price County residents, employers, and the broader community. Thank you for your time today, for your partnership, and for your continued support to help SEP's mission to bring people better lives through work. Thank you. Willing to take any questions as well.
Go ahead, Mr. Bergstrom.
It says that you've leveraged 1 million in training and support. Where do
Yes.
your funds come from?
Our funds are primarily federal.
So this is a federal program.
Mostly federal. We do get some state dollars. Back in the early 2000s, we got a lot of state support. It's kind of drifted off. When there were ARPA funds, we got some of those, but of course those are gone now too. So primarily reliant on
And you
federal.
don't provide
local.
any training, you just direct the individual someplace?
So part of that is we would direct and then pay for those services. So if somebody's going to the tech college here, we might provide some training dollars. We might provide the program. They have to meet certain requirements, or we might pay mileage, different supports that they need to get that training. And then for the youth career academies, we do the instruction on those.
Any other questions for Skylar?
So you had some financial problems, and that's why you came and asked for some money, in which we provided.
Yes.
And are you straightened out? You got your house in order?
Yeah. So this is somewhat of a loaded question. We've definitely gone through a lot of changes and a lot of cuts. We've had staffing changes. When I started at SEP about 12 years ago, we had 30 some employees. We've reduced that down to our 15 now. We had to close job centers. Park Falls, our job center here, is the most utilized. So that is one that we did retain. But we've had a lot of changes to get to that point. Right now, we're doing well with what we have, but with the upcoming, our WIOA project should be renewed or not renewed at the federal level. So it'll be.
So there's a chance you get more cuts.
There is a chance, and we are anticipating that. It usually doesn't go up, unfortunately.
But do you receive any money from private companies?
We do not. This is something that we're navigating currently. Because SAP was designated as a government program in the 60s when it was first developed, there's different metrics in place where we can't solicit donations from companies for programs like this. I have sent letters out to the state, to get some clarification on that, because we could look for support from local companies as well.
And I guess onto that, when a plant is closing, I was thinking they're required for training, but they don't send money to you.
Correct. Yes. So, for example, the Park Falls paper mill, we worked on that one numerous times. Georgia Pacific, Geldwin was a recent one. Occasionally the state will add extra money if it's a big enough layoff, but we have to meet certain parameters. So, it takes a lot of cooperation from the businesses, from the participants to check a lot of boxes to get. I think the last time for the large scale closure at Geldwin, we used the funds that we were given at the beginning of the year, and they contributed maybe an additional $5,000 to $10,000 that we had to meet certain credentialing and things to get.
So if a person is laid off, are you the first point of contact for collecting unemployment?
So we are not the unemployment office, but we help connect people to that office. So the state is clear that they provide the unemployment. The problem is that it needs to be completed online, and a lot of people here don't have the computer skills or access to do that. So oftentimes they come into our office. Typically what happens, somebody gets laid off. If they know about SEP or somebody gets them to SEP, we have a whole thing. Okay, you've been laid off. Here's what your next steps are. One of that is helping them get unemployment. We don't make the decisions on unemployment, but we can help them at least get their applications in sufficiently. And a lot of people say that they wouldn't have been able to navigate their loss without the support of people in our offices.
Mr. Hallstrand.
Skylar, last time that we dealt with this SEP issue, the state of Wisconsin owed you a large chunk of money.
Yes.
Did you receive it? Because that's when we were going to get repaid.
Yes. So we did receive that funding. It was very delayed. But at the same time, the entire grant got cut due to federal changes. So they reduced 90% in that program that we were partnering with the UW on. So that was eliminated. And then we also took a $500,000 cut at the beginning of July, approximately, through WIOA funding. So while we got that money, then more cuts came.
So I think SEP's a really good program. It helps displaced workers get retrained or find a new job. I think it's well received in the county. I'm not sure. I'm okay with the county maybe giving them money, but I don't want to set a precedent where organizations come to the county and ask for a loan and then figure they don't have to pay back. And I'm not saying you're doing that.
Sure.
So that's just something to think about. If we okay it today, I believe it still has to go through full board.
And the one thing with SEP, and we've tried tracing back, and we could work with you on this because I'm still looking for clarification. I've been in this role since, August of 24, and it's been a continuing circle. So I'm like, I'll get to this. There is legislation when the SEP was first developed, counties were tied into that pretty strongly. Some of that has gone by, but there is some county buy-in usually too that might make us a little bit different than some other organizations, just the way that the legislation was written.
So question is today, do we want to
Forgive the loan.
forgive the loan? And so we'd need a motion to forgive it, and then it would go to full board.
Kind of. Yeah.
I have one thing to say. I think this is too close to a donation, and I think that's kind of shaky waters there as far as using taxpayer money as a donation. One of my statements.
I guess that kind of adds on to my point about starting a precedent.
And then a precedent set who else comes for money.
Yeah.
But I guess personally, I don't have a problem sending on to full board. We can discuss it there.
So a couple steps we'd have to take. One, the donation thing that Doug's mentioning, there is we're not allowed to be doing just general donations. So you'd have to look at it as a service provided, which that would just be a hurdle to look at if you want to say there's a contract for services provided, and so then it would no longer be a donation. For the process that we should probably be following for this, so on the next agenda item would be the discussion of the loan forgiveness. If there was a motion to consider something, it would actually come back here with the resolution to amend that resolution. That's what would go to the full board. So depending on your conversation today, it would be one more step. So you would, whatever the motion was, you would bring it back here with that resolution for amendment. You would amend that resolution to say it was loan forgiveness, or it was, take out the words loan, that you're just saying this was $5,000 given for a service, and that's what the amendment would be. That would then be approved to go to the full board for consideration or denial. So yes, you're deciding today, but there's a couple steps.
And we could
Okay.
also set up, when you said you're willing to pay it back, a very nominal, slow, over a long period of time, you pay us back.
Mhm.
And that would take away Doug's concern. It would take away the concern that we give money out and then, oh, well, we'll just not pay it back down the road.
Correct.
And I think in my eyes, that would be the better way to go, is to have some type of, whether it's $100 a month or something very manageable and reasonable, but it doesn't look like we're on the hook for this. Don't take this wrong, but I'm sure glad we didn't give 50,000, but at least we're getting our money back. It doesn't look like we are donating. I don't know if we still have to do a resolution for a payment plan then, or what we would have to
Yep.
do.
So, because in the current resolution, it says the payment was due December 31st. You guys did make a motion at the December meeting. I don't remember what it was. December meeting to postpone that payment, so that wasn't like they were in default or something. So what Jeff is alluding to would be some type of payment plan. So you would redo the resolution, instead of payment due of $5,000 in whole of December 31st of whatever, you could say payment plan of $500 a quarter or $100 a month, something. I guess that would be a question for Skylar, if it's more cash flow positive for you guys to not have to do a one lump sum of 5,000, instead do a 2-year payment plan. So
Sure.
that would be. the
And
question.
I could certainly talk to our executive board along with our finance director to see, just, depending on what would be easiest. One other thing that some counties were looking at, it was to adding us as, I don't know the correct language probably, but as a community partner, where instead of dealing with loans, like SEP would essentially be a line item where it would be decided, and then we'd report back and there'd be metrics set of what would need to be done. That's something too that we would certainly be willing to explore, especially as we're losing federal and state funds and we want to stay in these areas. We want to keep helping. We're going to need support from other areas. So we're willing to look at those options as well.
I'm not asking you this, but I'm just out loud question. Would that be something like we do with the chamber then?
Yeah, if they became what I would say is a service provider, community partner, it would be like Friends of Fred Smith, the chamber. We would have some type of MOU. We'd have a line item every year saying this service is being provided at this level. They report back at, I'm assuming, the same level. We have a board member and then
Yeah, we
a
have
member
two,
at large.
yes.
One member is at large. It's not technically a board member.
Right. Patricia is there. Yeah, Patty is there.
Yeah. So Patty is the board member. So they're already reporting to us. So it would be, yes, treated more like that. Friends of Fred Smith, the chamber, where there's a community partner, service provided, and a report.
So how do you recommend we proceed right now based on what Jeff said and what she possibly, should we
Jeff should make a motion.
make
Yeah,
a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we have it on postpone the payment and make payment plans.
So amend the resolution.
Amend the
to make-
resolution to make a repayment plan. We look at what you're suggesting here going down the road as a board.
I
But
think that's 2 different.
yeah, but for this particular line item, I guess we aren't on it yet. We're still in the
Well,
presentation, but
Yeah,
unless
we
we're
could
moving
go
to
to next line. item.
line 8, then
They kind of
I
blend
would make a
together.
motion that we set up a small manageable payment plan.
I will second that.
Okay, motion by Hellstrand, second by Erickson. Any more discussion? Skylar, you got any more comments?
No, thank you all. I would be happy to come back and talk more about our work and other opportunities too, and we'll know more about our funding. Well, it was supposed to be last week, so we'll know more soon. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Okay, if there's no more discussion, we'll go ahead and vote.
What was the date of the conception of that loan?
Well, it should be on this resolution, shouldn't it?
That's what I'm looking for right now.
Passed.
18th day of June, 2024.
Yep.
So June 2024 with a payment date of 2025 December.
Correct. Okay,
Ask clerk, make sure I have the motion.
sure. I'm gonna have the clerk read the motion before we vote on it.
Okay, motion Hallstrand, second Erickson to set up a small manageable payment plan with Northwest SEP for the $5,000 and to amend the resolution for it. Is that okay?
You want to put a time period on
Well, we'll do that
Put
at the
that in
next
the
meeting.
resolution.
Yeah,
Right,
yep.
well, because we gotta come up with a resolution, then we can
it?
set a time frame.
Any other discussion? Everybody good with what Meredith read back? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
So to quickly summarize what you'll be seeing as committee members is at the next committee meeting. Prior to that, I'll work with Skylar. We'll talk about what that amount might be. If it's easier for your staff to do quarterly, monthly, whatever it might be, we'll come up with some verbiage. You guys will see an amended resolution taking away the payment due date to change it to whereas this loan will be paid off starting on this date, this many payments for this long. That's what you'll be approving. Then it has to go to the February full board. So there's still a few steps here. If it were to fail at the board, then it would go back. We'd still owe the 5,000. There'd be steps, but that's we'll have a resolution amendment at the next executive meeting.
Make sense to everybody? Okay, very good. Next up, number 9, resolution, Town of Georgetown Bridge and Culvert Aid. Whereas the Town of Georgetown is requesting aid for design and installation of 2 new culverts on Fairview Road, north of Cannon, nearest intersection Fairview Road and Liberty Lane on the border of section 29 and 28 and so on. Whereas the funding criteria for the above mentioned project is as follows: 50% county, 50% Town of Georgetown. Fiscal impact $6,500. Looking for a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by Erickson,
I'll second.
second by Hallstrand. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 10, monthly vouchers.
Move to approve.
Is that you, Mr. Barkstrom?
Move to approve.
Motion by Barkstrom to approve,
I'll second.
second by Erickson. I've got, what did the EMS need software for from Motorola for $2,300, almost $2,400? I didn't know you needed software for radios, but that's why I'm asking the
She
question.
has radios too. She has radios, computers, and phones.
Okay, so.
So it's just, we probably
what kind of
charged it to
software
them.
is it?
I would have to look,
I would
but,
have to ask. I'd have to pull
and
it
it might be the same radio software that like the highway, or not highway, what do we got? The sheriff's department pays for, we just charge some of it to her.
So it's
we
like
get
a
the grant.
license or something?
Yeah, I would
I'm sure
guess, but
that price,
don't
I'd
quote
guess-
me.
Yeah, I'd have to pull it up.
Okay,
Did you put, how much was it down?
23.
2382, or maybe some change.
Okay.
We'll let you know.
And then, next question is, there's Cottingham and Butler, I believe, insurance consultant.
Yep, so
for
we,
$6,416.
yep, so our health insurance broker cut us a deal. So normally you pay based on a percentage of your total cost. Because our total cost went up like 20% the last 2 years on like fees and all that. They came to us and said, can we do a separate contract so that you don't have to pay that increase to us also in the background? So we get a deal. That's why we're paying them
So
separate.
like a flat rate type deal,
Yep.
but those are our brokers.
Yes, that's
Okay.
our health insurance.
All right.
They're the ones that, broker the deal for like Tailored or broker the
Okay.
deal for all that.
Yeah, because we're not the experts in
Right.
that industry.
The
So
laws.
it is a Model 2 portable radio.
Okay, it's listed as software. I mean,
Yep, 1900, and then the software licenses is like $400. So,
okay. Thank you.
But that's a bigger bill too.
yep.
It's multiple
Yep.
companies.
And maybe we can or can't talk about details on the next one. DNA surcharge of $3,012. What, you remember what that was for? Why we had to have DNA tested or?
Well,
Children and youth, or not children,
No,
what's
that-
downstairs?
child support.
Child support.
Could be.
Oh, that'd be something like
That-
paternity.
Yeah,
Yeah, paternity,
yeah.
maternity. It might also, well, the sheriff's department pays for their own DNA because there's a lot of court system DNA stuff
Right.
we have to do.
Yeah, and it could be a long, let me look at child support.
Child support's in here. It would be them if it's in this packet.
No, that's not, because that's just a DNA, it's only $45. How much?
3,012.
So it's not under child support. You don't know who it was?
I didn't write that down. I don't know if it said.
On the individual it does. Or it does say. I'm not finding it, but
Well, you can just let me know.
yeah.
And the last question I might have asked before, but I don't remember the answer. We're paying $442 for Safe Ride program. I don't know of any Safe Ride programs that are in service right now. And there might be,
There might be.
but if we're paying for something that really doesn't exist, who's getting the money? And why?
Look for that too.
And we can come back to that
Yeah.
later.
All
But
right.
it's just something that I guess I'd like to know the
It
answer.
might be something where we transported someone, it's
That's
not
what
the
I'm
drug or alcohol safe ride.
Okay,
It might be
okay.
just
Well,
like,
that's what I took it as.
No, that is state fines, and so we pay to the state
Oh,
for
yep.
that program. So when you
Okay.
look at, when you see
I get
the
it.
Safe Ride over on the left, this is who the vendor is, it's to the state.
We're
So we have to-
required to contribute
Correct.
to
So
the
a portion of
program.
Whatever
System.
fine gets divided out depending what the fine
Okay.
is.
so people
Yep.
pay fines, a portion of it goes
Goes
to
to
Sure.
safe ride.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, and same thing, DNA analysis surcharge, same thing, it was the state.
Somebody had to get something for the
Something,
state.
yeah, it was for the
Okay.
state.
That's all I have.
That
There's
makes-
no other discussion. All those in favor of approving the vouchers signify by saying aye.
I,
Any opposed? Motion carry. Number 11, date of the next meeting. At this time, there will be one, February 12th, 2026. Next item is 12, go to closed session, so I need a motion to go into closed session regarding announcement and motion to adjourn to closed session pursuant to the exemption of Wisconsin statute 19.85(1)(c) for considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercised responsibility, and for the purpose of today is to review county administrator contract. And that's it. So I guess I need a motion
I'll
to,
make the motion to go into closed session.
motion by Barkstrom, second by anybody, Hallstrand. I guess we got to do a voice vote.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Alan Barkstrom,
Yes.
Doug Erickson,
Yes.
Brian Ernst.
Yes.
Jeff Hallstrand.
yes.
And Larry is excused.
Okay,
So
we'll take a 5-minute break.
okay. And we'll be ending the online meeting. So, and it will not continue after the
Okay.
closed session.
Going into closed session.